League of Legends and Dota 2 have been the biggest games of their kind for years now. Although other titles in the MOBA space such as Smite, Heroes of Newerth, Paragon, and Heroes of the Storm have all brought something new to the table, they still fall short when compared to the popularity that the two titans enjoy. League of Legends and Dota have completely revolutionized the MOBA genre and are generally regarded as some of the best games of the previous decade. This makes frequent comparisons between the two titles inevitable among fans. While we can acknowledge that both games are great in their own right, with huge esports scenes, there are just a few things that one does better than the other. Invariably, these are usually the reasons why people prefer one over the other.
Greetings to all citizens of the Good Game Republic channel. Today, we will find out why League of Legends is better than Dota 2. We are Ukrainians and we try to make our content better and better. So we are asking you for help. Write your ideas and suggestions about our staff and us in the comments. Hit the sub button, turn on the notification bell, and like the video. Get comfortable because we're starting right now.
Fewer Smurfs. For years, Dota 2 had a problem with attracting new players. This has led to low-tier matchmaking games being infested with Smurfs that have much more MMR than their main accounts. So whenever a new player tries out Dota 2 for the first time, they're likely to run into an imbalanced match with Smurfs and experienced players. This does not make for an enjoyable experience, since they will simply not understand the game as well as an experienced player. Contrast that with League of Legends, whose player base continues to grow. A new player is much more likely to be matched up with other new players. This allows them to learn the game at their own pace and be matched up with players of equal skill level. Friendly for beginners. While all titles in the MOBA genre have seemingly endless learning curves, the decision of which game a player wants to learn usually comes down to its ease of entry. For the aforementioned theme of clarity around the map, League of Legends scores. But that's not the only thing that makes the game easier. Dota is overflowing with mechanics that absolutely must be learned for a player to call themselves an expert. For example, in Dota, you can destroy your own creeps to influence a lane. This also makes leaving a lane more punishing and makes you lose your way quickly. Of course, this brings a new strategic depth to the game, but it's also one of the many little things that can be a hurdle, especially for beginners. Another place where League has an edge in the new player experience is the fact that the average game length is much lower than that of Dota 2. Most League games and pubs usually end around the 25 to 30 minute mark, whereas the average length of a Dota 2 game is around 40 minutes. So newcomers usually end up spending much less time on League of Legends than Dota 2. Quality over quantity. Roles in League of Legends can easily be divided into specific groups. Bot laner goes to bot lane and is mostly comprised of marksmen. Mid laners are usually mages or assassins and belong to mid lane, and the jungler roams through the jungle. These players usually don't leave their areas until the start of late game, which provides a basic structure to the game. Support tries to help his teammates on lanes. Every player has a distinct objective on the lane, while the laners must prevail against their opponents and destroy them in their towers. The jungler has to help gain control over the map and help out his team. Systems in Dota 2 are a bit more complicated. There are core roles that play every lane and farm creeps. Also, there are supports that help top and bot cores to farm and win the lane. At the mid lane, two men play 1 versus 1. Sometimes they ask for help from subs. There are no junglers in Dota that are similar to League junglers, and core players often farm jungle after the lane to get necessary items. With the missing order in the role assignments, the game can seem a bit chaotic at times. The different roles have their own goals, but because of their quantity and flex potential, you can't quite group them into one lane. League provides fewer roles, but that's a good thing. The clear game structure with dedicated strengths and weaknesses for everyone helps the game to be a bit more approachable to players, but does not completely limit them. The Heroes System. League of Legends only unlocks 3 heroes when a newcomer first starts the game and finishes the tutorial. Players are not overwhelmed by the number of options and choices they're given at the very beginning. It's also relatively easy to learn these heroes in League of Legends. The champions, while unique, follow a certain pattern of hero design. Almost all of them have similar ability kits, which make it easy for new players to learn these champions as they translate well from one character to another. Compare this to Dota 2, where every single hero is available right right from the get-go, where almost every single hero has unique kits. New players will likely be overwhelmed by the number of choices they encounter at the very beginning. Dota 2 does have a limited heroes game mode, which would solve this issue for newcomers if it only had more players choosing that game mode in matchmaking. The following content is blocked. To unlock it, you have to share the video on your Twitter or Facebook page. We'll give you some time. Visual clarity. You just cannot ignore the fact that League is the visually better game. From the presentation of their champs to the appearance of the map, the simplistic yet detailed design is simply beautiful. Dota, on the other hand, is filled with trees, crystals, statues, and other things. This overloads your map, as some players might not know where they can and cannot go. The map is also split into two parts. Although they look different, they are functionally similar and only provide more confusion for the player. The League map is always clear of hindrances and shows you clear paths that you can walk on. Even the jungle has direct routes that you can decipher at first glance. This is incredibly helpful for new players. You never want to make a game where you fight not only your enemies, but also the map itself. League even has the edge when we look at animations of their characters. League's champions show emotions and have fluidity in their motion, while Dota's heroes seem clunky at best. One can observe this by looking at the latest characters of both games. The esports system. Recently, Valve has caught a ton of flack for their handling of the Dota Pro circuit. Players, teams, and the Dota 2 community have been vocal about the fact that there is no proper schedule for the competitive scene. During the online era, Valve has made a lot of unpopular decisions. First, the International 10 has been postponed to 2021. Second, the DPC has also been suspended, with Valve delegating the responsibility of keeping the competitive scene chugging to third-party tournament organizers like ESL, WePlay, Epic Esports events, and Beyond the Summit. As a direct result of Valve's silence, multiple teams have disbanded and players have been left in the dark about the immediate future of the professional scene. In smaller regions such as SEA and the Americas, not many tournaments have been announced, which leads to a lot of uncertainty around player income. And even when DPC came back in 2021, Valve trailed far behind. When other developers tried to make their tournaments in front of crowds of fans, Valve did 2 majors in the international without viewers on arenas. In 2022, there was also an incident. Valve was unable to negotiate with a contractor to organize the first major in 2022, so the esports scene was stuck until the developer announced regional finals, another online event but without a league system, only with playoffs. League of Legends Pro scene, on the other hand, is much more structured. Despite the pandemic, online leagues sponsored and hosted by Riot Games have continued to take place with their marquee League of Legends World Championship. Players have also continued to receive salaries throughout this duration, with fans also being engaged with a constant slew of tournaments and high-tier games. In 2022, esports scene bounced back. There are regional leagues with split at the end of the season, where the best teams of the region are playing in front of thousands of fans. Worlds 2022 was planned to be as ambitious as the previous ones, with matches taking place in big sports stadiums across North America. Community management. Valve's problems with communications have been well documented. Earlier this year, former CSGO and current Valorant pro player Spencer Heiko Martin compared his communication with Valve to Riot Games, stating that he had literally talked to more people from Riot in the last month than he had in his entire life with Valve. However, he also added that you shouldn't talk bad about Valve, and that there was a lack of context in it. Valve as a company works in a very private manner. They rarely communicate with their Dota 2 community and often leave pro players and teams in the dark with regard to patch releases, tournament announcements, the DPC, and etc. Only recently, after much outrage, did they acknowledge these communication issues via blog post. Riot Games follows a completely different model of communication in comparison. They've constantly maintained a very good track record of communication with League of Legends communities. Of course, fans still have some complaints about the developer, but it rarely gets out of hand compared to Dota 2 fans' complaints about Valve. One could argue that Riot Games' constant communication is largely responsible for the success of the game. Well guys, that's it. Did we miss something? If we did, let us know in the comments below. Like the video, subscribe to the Good Game Republic channel, and hit the notification bell. See you next time.